Hi everyone, it's Cass. Welcome back to my channel, What Cass Read. Today I'm going to bring you my spoiler-free review of Uprooted by Naomi Novik. So first of all, I need to let you know I love this book. I gave it 4 stars. So Uprooted is a story about a young woman named Agnieszka. She's like 17 years old, I think she's 17, and her best friend Cassia. Agnieszka has grown up in this village in the wood for all of her life, and wood is a proper noun with a capital W. The wood is this magical part of the world where bad things kind of happen, but these happy little villages kind of plug along anyway. And the reason why these villages kind of are able to exist is because there is a lord of the area who is also a wizard. His name is the Dragon, and he sort of keeps the evil forces of the wood at bay. The other thing that he does is every 10 years he ends up choosing a young woman from all of the villages in the wood to come back to his tower with him. And we don't really know what he does with them. We just know that every 10 years that he takes a young woman. When his time with her is done, then she gets a massive dowry and she ends up leaving, never to return to the villages in the wood. So every 10 years, a new girl is chosen. So Agnieszka has grown up believing that her best friend Cassia is going to be chosen. She's the prettiest of all the young girls in their year. She has been raised also to be this kind of sacrificial lamb because she is the prettiest, and she's going to learn how to prepare meals that are beautiful for a wizard. And she's going to learn how to entertain and live with a lord in his tower on behalf of everyone in the village. And so Agnieszka and Cassia kind of treasure the moments that they have together because they know that she's going to be taken anyway. Things don't turn out that way, and it turns out during the choosing ceremony, the dragon comes to the village and he doesn't take Cassia, he takes Agnieszka instead. And of course, things take off from there. What you should know about the plot is that this is a story that has influences of Slavic folklore, Slavic fairy tales, and so it very much reads like a fairy tale. So the world building, the whole world is a fairy tale world. Not in the same way that when I read The School for Good and Evil. It is a very mature fairy tale world, and that's why I would not classify this as young adult. This is an adult fantasy standalone novel. And the things that we learn about this world, I sort of viewed as, okay, this is a fairy tale, and with all fairy tales, we kind of accept things as they are. Things just are. The rules of the world that we are in are just that way because fairy tales read that way. There is the wood that is a main part of this story, the world building. This evil, dark wood is this very big looming presence in Agnieszka's life, but she also has really positive thoughts about the wood and her home village because it's her home and she was brought up there and it very much is a part of her. So we get kind of both aspects. We get the very magical forest vibes that I thought this book was going to give us. Really beautiful lyrical descriptions of mossy earth, dirty earth, beautiful trees, woodsy mushrooms. We get all of that. And then at the same time, the wood is an evil entity. So the world building also gives us the dark, twisted areas of the wood with creatures that we can't really explain. We do have the tower where the dragon lives and where he takes young women. So we do get that aspect. And then we eventually get the aspect of kind of the broader realm that Agnieszka becomes a part of once she's taken. But a bulk of the world building are these really beautiful, earthy descriptions of the wood. There is a magic system in here, and that to me was one of the main complaints that I had heard of from a lot of people, was that the magic system wasn't like really explained. It just is. And I again took it the way that when we read fairy tales, there is no explanation. Things just are and things just happen. That to me wasn't a very big complaint, and that is part of the reason why I enjoyed this book so much, because the magic system just felt a part of the world, felt a part of the wood, felt a part of the tower, felt a part of Agnieszka and the dragon. I found no complaints with it either. So our main character, Agnieszka, again, like I said, she's 17 years old and she's a very stubborn young woman, but in the way that not in an unenjoyable stubborn young woman way, but she's also just a very enjoyable young woman because she just kind of blunders around and she's a very dirty girl. She just doesn't care. She likes to show up messy because she likes to get her hands dirty. She's a very low maintenance chick. That's what I'll say. And then we have Cassia, who is her best friend. And Cassia and Agnieszka have this beautiful, beautiful friendship. To me, the main relationship in this story is not between Agnieszka and the dragon. It is Agnieszka and Cassia. And we see Cassia as this beautiful girl, maybe a little too much. She's just this selfless, beautiful little fairy tale princess type archetype. Maybe some of it's because the story is told through Agnieszka's eyes. So we get this very cherished look of Cassia because Agnieszka cherishes her so. But as the story goes on, we see the strength of Cassia sort of build. She no longer kind of follows the mold of this servant woman that she was raised to be and becomes a servant woman on behalf of everyone. She does what is asked of her. She does what is not asked of her. Her biggest superpower is her love for Agnieszka and vice versa. Their main superpower is their love for each other. And then of course we have the dragon. The dragon is kind of described at the very beginning as this like very powerful lord who's also a wizard, and he's very mysterious because we don't really know a lot about him. We're kind of envisioning this like old man wizard who takes young women, but it turns out he's just old in age, but he's very young looking, a la Angel in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So we get this really good looking, like very well kept man who likes things the way that he likes things. And so because both Agnieszka and the dragon have very particular ways that they like things done, it obviously causes some initial tension. Obviously, as the story unfolds, I think both of their shells begin to break a little bit, and then we get a really beautiful relationship. So overall, like I said, I gave this book 4 stars. I loved it. I loved it. The reason why I didn't give it 5 stars, like I really wanted to give this book 5 stars, is because, and I agree with some of the criticisms that people have out there, and that is that the book just kind of jumps a little bit too quickly from plot point to plot point, where we begin one adventure and we start another adventure. And I still rated it very highly because, again, I took it through the lens of that this is a fairy tale and things just are in fairy tales. Also because people complain, you know, when we take 3 books to set up a world, and Naomi Novik manages to do it in 1. So it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like damned if you take too long to create a world, but when she manages to do it 1, we complain. Because some things kind of moved a little bit quickly from plot point to plot point, I did kind of have to flip back a little bit just to kind of refresh my memory, like, did I miss something? And I just kind of had to like go back a little bit and read maybe a paragraph or 2 and be like, oh, okay, now I'm good. So that's the only reason why I docked it 4 stars. So overall, again, I loved this book. I loved it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Please comment in the comment section below if you also love this book, or maybe if you agree with some of those criticisms, like you didn't see the magic system the way that I saw the magic system, or maybe you didn't care for the different like jolting parts of the plot, like we just moved things a little bit too fast and you docked it way more than I docked it down. I loved it. I loved it. 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, thank you so much again for joining me for the spoiler-free review of Uprooted by Naomi Novik. You can follow me on all of my social media if you want to talk to me about the book too, and it's at What Cass Read, the same as this channel. I'm on Twitter and Instagram, and of course, you know how these videos end. Talk to you later.